We can't always fish on the best days, and today is one of those days. High tide, rain, wind, but I'm going to show y'all how to fill the box. C'est parti, let's go. Okay, we are at spot number 4. Had some strikes today, some really good ones too at that, but no hook sets so far. It's kind of funny that we ended up over here. Kind of had a dream that I fished this spot last night, so I guess kind of had it on my mind to come here one way or another. Just so happened that we haven't found any fish yet, so we came here anyway. Basically what I'm doing is I'm fishing kind of the rim of Magnolia Lagoon. Not staying anywhere for very long, 30 minutes tops. So I'm actually coming in hot, coming in too fast to sight fish, but I'm doing that on purpose. The reason I'm doing that on purpose is I want to spook fish. Why do I want to spook them? It just tells me they're here. So I'm okay spooking them because usually if you find one, you find a few more. So it's no big deal if I come in hot and spook one and don't get a good, yep, there was one right there. Just spooked it. So that tells me there are redfish in here. That one, he's gonna not be spooked in just a little while anyway. And so now we can go a little bit slower and fish our sort of normal style. Right there, just saw its tail. It's still there. It's still in there, it hasn't moved. Let's see. Oh, I just spooked something right there. Man, they're really spooky today. Where did that red go? Oh, he just got him. Got him. Nice. All right. I don't think this is the one that I saw, but I'll take it. Beautiful, beautiful fish. Probably won't keep. I'm gonna net it though, just to make sure we get it. I don't know, I think this one will keep. I can hear it drumming too. What a beautiful fish. And guys, that is textbook redfish tactics right there. Came in hot, spooked one on purpose. That showed me they were here, so we just had to push on in, and here we go, we found it. Look at that fish. I'm gonna measure it just to be sure. Last year's keeper. Still really fun, and there's definitely some more. So let me show you what we're fishing with. This is a Lost Coast swim bait. You can go with any swim bait, doesn't really matter. This color is really great. It's bright. Now normally you wouldn't consider this loud conditions, but the water isn't really exactly all that clear. And normally what I would be doing right now is going with a spoon, a weedless spoon. Unfortunately, my rod that I use for that kind of fishing needs to be repaired. It lost an eye. But either way, this works just as well. It's weedless. I've got it on a 16th ounce weight, so I can really float it over the grass. Let me show y'all. And you just kind of pulse it. Really nothing to it. And that's it. Now, there are definitely more reds in here. Let's see if we can land a few more. All right, well, after that red, nothing doing, just dodging all of these storms. There's one. There's one. Gotta be a red. No. That's a sight for sore eyes. Oh, it got off. Ugh. That was a flounder. That was a flounder, a really big flounder at that. Well, I think we've finally found some fish. You know, depending on how I edit this, you might not know just how long we've been fishing and how hard the fishing's been, especially for me to be that sort of upset about losing that fish. It was hooked up real well, but it just shook itself loose while I was trying to get the net ready. Should have boat flipped it, I guess. But we've seen at least 3 reds. We just hooked into that flounder, so I think it's just a matter of time. Just a matter of time. Oh, there's one. Oh, put it right in its mouth. Nice. Let's see if we can keep this one buttoned up. Look how pretty this fish is. Got it. Finally, the grind paid off. Oh, shoot. Well, you mentioned after the flounder, I don't know if it'll come out how tired I am, but I think that just showed it. Oh man, look how pretty this fish is. You cannot get a more perfect red than this. This is definitely a keeper. Look at that. Absolutely stunning red. Look at these colors. Beautiful. He's going in the box. Whew, what a grind it was today, y'all. All right, well, that jolted some energy into me, but that is really just perfectly high tide. And we really landed on this spot because we were being chased by this storm that doesn't seem to want to die. And that's just how it goes. I mean, that's just, on days like this, what you have to do. You can't really do anything but keep working, keep grinding, and eventually you will come across them. You have to. There's kind of no other way. Now, the counter can be said. You could just sit in one spot. That's true. It's also pretty boring. So I keep hearing thunder in that direction. We can look above us. There's rain. There's definitely rain behind us. So it looks like we're going to get rained on. Okay, well, we just had to make a super long run to get out of the rain. And out of the rain we are. It looks to me like the tide is starting to fall, so we have been fishing long enough to fish both tides. And also, as this tide falls, when I can wrap around here, these bayous empty out into kind of a main connecting bayou. And where they meet, oh man, those spots are killer. There's a fish, there's a fish. Another red, another red. Whew. That didn't take long over here. I did not get a good hook set. I barely felt it hit. Oh, he's not ready. Now you can see the color difference on this one versus the other. This one is super pale. The other was like bright copper orange. The color difference just comes from the water clarity. That's really all there is to it. We were in super clear water when we caught that copper one. We're in dirty water, and now this one's a little bit more pale. There you go. Lovely Hopedale redfish. This one's about 18 or 19. I'll measure it just to make sure, but it's a keeper. Okay, well, that didn't take long at this spot. Let's hope that becomes a trend. Although today hasn't really gone that way, where we've just found them stacked up. We did start to find them kind of grouped up, but then the rain came. But that is what it's like fishing on these days. And you know, if you're like me, you fish when you can. But it does look like sticking with our throwing right at the grass pattern has worked. And that's really what you got to do at high tide. No doubt about it. But I think it's, if you're chasing reds, it's what you got to do all the time. Kind of funny with the weather like this. I had in my mind going after triple tail in Lake Warren today. I'm glad I didn't try that. There's one. There's one. Oh, I lost it. I knew it was there too. Golly, y'all. I really couldn't tell what that was. I think it was a pretty decent sized trout. Definitely mentioned it before. There's a good thing about fishing areas you know. I know there's a tree that runs through there, so I kind of know what to expect in terms of getting hung up. But the bad thing is you tend to spend more time in areas you know than areas you don't. And that's definitely been true today, but on a windy and rainy day like this, kind of need to stick to areas you know, because I guess the last good thing about them, you know how to get out on them. And when it just starts raining the way it has a couple of times today, that's a very good thing to know. There's one. There's one. I was about to say it feels like a flounder. Monster flounder. Oh man, that makes me so happy. I wasn't talking about it, but man, I was still thinking about that flounder I lost, and this is an absolute doormat. Oh my God, did you see that? Well, he earned it. I just apparently can't keep a flounder today. Yeah, that fish earned it. Earned it in more ways than one. It lost its eye. Well, didn't get to show it to you guys, but I did land it. So, yeah, this plastic, this is the same plastic all day. 3 reds, 2 flounder. Holding up. It's one of the reasons I like this lure so much, but it's really effective. Now, I literally never go out in search of flounder, so I'm not gonna sit here and pout and be like, I can't leave until I catch another flounder. I really don't know how to specifically target them. They're always kind of an accidental catch. Now right here is where I've done probably my favorite sight fish ever. This redfish was like 5 feet deep, about right there. I was able to see it and get the lure on it. And it looks like the water is crystal clear again. There's one. Oh golly, this is a nice one, whatever it is. My drag is a little too loose. It's gotta be a red. I'm not gonna put the power pole down because this is a monster, whatever it is. Yes, it is. Stay buttoned up, fish, stay buttoned up. Oh, you heard that? That was my line. Got him. Nice. And look how pretty copper it is. I was just about to say, if we catch any in here, they're going to be that nice bright copper. Not sure why they change colors like that, but they do. Nice. Let's put it in the box. Okay, well, I believe we got our limit according to the new limits of Louisiana. I'm not real sure. I've always only kept redfish above 18, only one above 24, and usually no more than 3. So I'm not real sure what the limits are anymore. It didn't really affect me, but I think we got it. It only took a while. And we did catch 4 redfish. That was a huge gar. First redfish was a keeper last year, not a keeper this year. And so far, no sight fishing. It's all been blind cast. And almost no hits, I think, except for the 2 flounder. Almost nothing where the lure was followed. It was always hit as soon as that lure hit the water, for the reds at least. So that's an interesting kind of nugget here. This means that cast placement really is everything, and that usually is the truth when it comes to redfish, at least. All right, this will be our last bayou. I'm sure I could go do what I talked about, which was go post up on the mouth of a draining bayou and just catch fish, but I've been drinking water all day and still haven't peed. That's not good. I need to get out of the sun, rehydrate, eat some food that's actually good for me, not just beef jerky and fruit taffy, or tar is what they call it actually. I try to eat as balanced as I can out here, but you know, I'm eating stuff that I can keep in the boat. It doesn't go bad. It's never it's never really good for you. Oh, got one. I was tangled in that grass. Here we go. Finally. Got ourselves a Cajun Slam. I think this will keep too. That guy almost got out too, man. Okay, let's see if there's a few more in there. Boat positioning has been tough in this bayou because the tide is starting to fall and it's just pulling my boat. We'll see. We definitely didn't go over where I caught this one. Oh, there's a bite. They seem to be kind of on the other side of that point. Yep, knew they were still here. This one won't keep. See you later, little guy. But I knew they were still here. I was just figuring out what angle. See if I can get the power pole down. Yes. Quiet as can be. I was just about to say, luckily trout don't seem to care about those things all that much. There's one. Yep, another little one. Alright, the next one is also a super tiny one. We'll just call it here. We got our slam. And I'm going to say that flounder counts. Even though I didn't fully control it, I guess. I controlled it for at least a little while. And I got it on the boat. Got it in the net. That has to count. Y'all tell me. Goal! Oh, a ladyfish. Okay. I was catching those in the Chandelier Islands just a few days ago, but they were much bigger. They're like 3 feet long. They were fun as heck. Unfortunately, I got no footage of them. They are fun to catch. Flying around and all that kind of stuff. Oh, there's a hit. There. There it is. That feels like a nicer one. Feels like a nicer one because it is a nicer one. Look at this hammer trout, y'all. It took us all day. All day. Look what we just got. Look at that absolute tank. Let's measure it. It took me a long time to get that fish off the hook. So we'll see if the bite moved on or not. Also, sometimes catching a big lunker like that can screw things up. I think my rear camera died too. Okay, let's see if there's any more. Tried to get that rear cam on, but just couldn't. I gotta say, this is a fun way to fish. Not a fun way to film. We're at the really high point of the heat. Been fishing for a long time, so all my gear is, the batteries are running out, overheating, all that good stuff. But the fishing of this style is really fun. It reminds me of sockeye fishing. As always, 3-cast rule. I haven't been the most efficient with de-hooking these fish, but there was one. All right, they're still here. There was another. Seems like you got to do kind of a fast twitch. There's one. Nice. He really swallowed it. Dang. Just threw up whatever he was eating. Okay, let's see if that rear camera works. Luckily that fish was 13, right on the money. There's another. Boy, we have found some trout. It only took all freaking day. Now you might notice, as soon as it hits the water, I'll let the spool unload. Doing that on purpose to try to get this lure to the bottom. It's on an 1/8 ounce jig head, which really isn't enough to get it to the bottom, but it's getting deep enough, it looks like. That's what she said. Another little guy there. All right, let's catch a few more. Again, if we get 3 in a row with no keepers, we'll go. That 17 and 14 in the mix though, man. That 17 in particular, that's bigger than anything I caught in the Chandelier Islands. Which is kind of funny. I ran into Jared from Jar Fishing on my Chandelier Island trip, part 2 at least. And he's like, you don't have to go all the way out there. I'm not going out there for the fishing, y'all. Going out there for the experience. What is this? Freaking hardhead. Man, we've caught every single species right here. Golly. I hooked a ladyfish. They must just be stacked super thick down there. Some kind of bait must have rolled through here. Yep, there it is being chased. It's a little tiny minnow, it looks like. Okay. Last 3 casts right here. Seems like trash fish have moved in and the trout have left. Alright, well that was the last cast. This is absolutely the lure of the day. The H&H Kakaho in tuxedo. It looks like Just a wounded mullet in the summer. If you've ever looked at them, they're kind of splotchy with black spots. And man, the plastic's tough. As always, the Lew's Mach 1 speed spool. Falcon Coastal XG 6.8 medium heavy. Sorry, medium action. That's pretty much all I fish with. Et oui, c'est fini pour maintenant. That's it for now. Merci pour regardant. Et next time, family and friends first, and I will catch you later. Sorry for trying that French. I don't even think I said it right. Anyway, like and subscribe, y'all. I'll see you later.